we are going to cover. We'll use it to be going to be looking at this is class 5. So we are going to be looking at majorly today on what's it called? Class 5. So class 5 will be on objects, right? Object no be the one where they use or the one that they use is flock children for school. So we'll look at objects. I would like you to understand that one thing. Every code you are writing, make sure that you understand that code. You read that code before we move on to the next one. Very, very essential, because don't be like a person that just go and copy code and it is what it is. And don't hide under people's grace. If you hide under people's grace, when you go get work tomorrow, you know go work under people's grace. So don't hide under people's grace. Don't say this person know it all. You have to go and read extra for you to be like that person. Alright, so here we are going to be having objects. Object.js. So like I told you last week, most of all the credits and index here inside this object. So I'm going to create a HTML index.html. Then let me move this from Django to HTML. Then generate my starter code. So let me also link my JavaScript source, then objects. Alright. Then I open the object here. We don't need to test if it's working. It's working. So like I was saying, objects, right? Object. If you understand the word objects, please quickly come and share your thought with us or your brain with us on the objects in JavaScript. I just need 2 persons that will quickly come forward to surprise distinguished high chief and share their thoughts on objects. Then we'll first start writing the code. Okay. I think we have object in Java. We have object in JavaScript. I think we have object in Python, if I'm not mistaken. We have object in almost all the whole programming language. Distinguished president, nobody.
Yeah, nobody, sir. Nobody.
Is that this is a new topic?
Okay,
it's a lie. Somebody must be there. What are you telling me? We have gurus here now. Are you telling me?
Shadrach, go ahead.
Alright, Shadrach, fire down.
So with my little
Nah, lie. Please don't. I don't like that. I don't like that. Which of you are little this thing?
Okay, sir.
Go straight to the point. Say are little.
Okay.
Don't know if she's little.
Okay, sir.
Fire down. She know man.
Okay, sir. Just like what you said last week, you have different types of data types, of which object is one of them. And based on that, I researched and found out that object is a composite data type that you can use to store multiple data. So let me use example. Let me use human being now as an object. Human being have different colors. They have different hairstyles. If you come, so object you can even add methods like the way the person walk, the way the person talk, and all that. So you can store it collectively, not like using different variables to sign it. So you can collect different multiple data and store it in a variable. You can hold as many as properties and methods you can add to it. Thank you.
Okay, good and fine. So why do we use objects? Now let me tell you something. So that you have bank account, right? Now a bank account is an object. In bank account, can you tell me properties that we have in bank account? Who can tell me properties we have in bank account? So we'll come to that. I know that the word properties is a bit confused. You understand? So bank account is an object, right? Right? So who can tell me properties we have in object properties? Now bank account has properties. So when it's properties, it has a balance, right? Does it have a balance? It has a account number. It has account name. Please let's call more and more, right? So an object is a non-primitive data type. Remember, in our last class, we look at lists of primitive data types, right? Which we said we have string, we have undefined, we have boolean. So those are data type, right? So object is a non-primitive data type that allow you to store multiple data. Now someone will say, which multiple data is again? Abi array no go fit solve am? No. Array only store data with just values, right? So but it doesn't have a key. So objects are a collection of key value pairs. We are going to look at it. They are used to store various data and functionality, right? So object has properties, values, and method. We are going to learn all this one, all this English or this. So let's look at this, right? Objects. Now, like I told you, I say objects. I get an inside of object, bank what? Bank accounts. Or let me say you can use students. So student can be an object, right? So inside this student has a cohort. The student has a name. Let me go this one. The student has a name. The student has a cohort. The student has a passcode. The student has a course. The student has a score, right? So these are the attributes that make up a student, right? These are attributes that make up what? A student. So now, an object, like I told you, an object has what? Key and value, right? So if you want to write an object, how do you write an object? So we are going to learn how to write the object. Now, when you look at this, okay. When you look at this, now I'm about to write now. Let's say let the object name. So inside this object name, you assign equals to, and then you use this angle bracket, right? The angle bracket, or what do they call it? Those that go to school can help me out. The angle bracket,
Curly braces.
curly braces. Okay. So you are assigning curly braces or curly bracket. I prefer curly bracket, okay? You can't call it braces that one. Alright. So you call the object Then this is the name of the objects. Then you assign curly braces or curly bracket. Then inside this we have a key, and then we have a value. Are we communicating? Just that the way we have bank account, right? Now when you look at this, in the above example, this is the key or the properties, and this is what the value, right? So this is a simple way to write objects. They will move on to more advanced of what object. Now let's also look at so like let's also look at another way to write object. We have different two types to write object, but we'll come to this. Now let's move on to a bit of advance. Let this picture be more clearer to us. We'll come to this place and we'll decide to have an object, right? We start to have an object of a student. So here I will decide to create a const so I will get more explanation. A scorn of students, which is equals to, like I told you, a student has a name, full name, and let's have the name as confidence, right? Then a student have a position, a cohort rather, and 20. I hope that is covered. All right. Then a student has the passcode. Then a student has a course. Now, when you look at this, right, this is called an object. Now, someone will say, how do you know that this is an object? We can also concatenate, so we can also check console.log. Then we call type of, then moving call the student. So we also, in order to have more clarity, I prefer opening this I think it's called backslide or back is it backslide or backslash? I don't know the name. This is backslash. Somebody that goes school. Back what? Back tick, abi? Okay. I go school though. I go school alright. Back tick, right? So then I'll come here and say this is the okay. I can say students is the type of, so what I'm going to do here is I'll just call on so for me to be able to call this variable here, right? So let me move this man first. For me to be able to call this variable here, I just need to use dollar sign, then call the curly bracket here and curly bracket here. So this will be able to give me access to, without using any concatenation, to communicate with this man. So what I'm going to do, type of, and let's quickly view this and see what's going to happen. If you don't understand, don't worry, as we move more further, you understand. Okay, let me quickly check this out, and I'm having value is not defined, so that should be what we have here. So I'll just comment on this to allow us check whatever we want. So when you look at here, student is the type objects. So now let me move ahead. Let me explain what is happening here. In the above example, right? In the above example, the full name, cohorts, passcode are called keys, right? And confidence 20, passcode, full stack are called values respectively. An object can be created using what? The curly bracket, and then a property which is called a key, and the value. So the properties which is called a key and a what? A value. Now let me move further in using visual representation on this. I think I should have that somewhere. Okay, I think I should have that something here. I don't know where I have that. Don't know where I have that in. Let me check. Okay, let me quickly Google objects. So let me check something. See if I can see any image that will help me demonstrate further. Okay, this image will help. So let's quickly check out this image. The image is not even here, but I have. So let me zoom this. So I believe you are seeing this. So when you look at the person, which is the object, so inside this object you have the key, right? So the key is name and age, what the value is John and 20. So the same thing we have here. The name is the full name, cohort, while the value is confidence 20 and co. I hope this will be able to give you or give us the basic of the object before we move to others. Now you can also create objects this way. So we're going to see how to create an object, right? So outside this, there's another way of creating an object. So another way of creating an object, let's say, let student or student 1 equals to new objects. So new object. So if you come here and decide to have console.log, and then we call the student 1, come back to close this, close this, close this, then you will see that we have an empty object. So you can see this object is empty, right? But when you come here, put a type here, you are seeing what? An object. So we created an empty object stream. Then what we are going to do next is to start adding what? The objects. I can call the student 1 dot full name equals to Olisa Skyline. This Olisa don't die since. I don't know why they use that name self. Skyline Macaulay. Alright. So move on to the next one. Student 1 dot cohort. Next, another cohort. So I'll write invisible cohort. I write cohort. Cohort 19. This is the guy who be cohort 7. This is a cohort of is it gift? I'll add gift and the guy, 2 cohorts. Alright. Okay. The next one we are going to have passcode. Right. Passcode. Students passcode. Pass 349. Now, for me, I prefer using this. For others, they prefer using this. So, if you come across, maybe when you are building a software, you come across this, always remember that it's also an object. Now, let's also learn how to access an object. Now, to access this object, you can access this object using the properties or the keys. Are we communicating? Using the property or the words or the key. So we're using dot notation or we use bracket notation. So we will look at 2 ways to access this. 2 ways to access. Let's say I want to call on these properties, right? So what I'm going to do here is very, very simple. I can decide to have console.log. To access this man, I will call the properties, which is the object students dots. Then if I want to access, for instance, I want to access the name of the student, or I want go on. If for instance I want to access the full name of the student, right? So what I need to do here is that dot full name. So this will give me confidence. If I also decide that okay, I want to access the course of that student, right? I'll come here and say console.log course, the object then the keys or the property. Passcode. So let's quickly go to browser to see what's going to happen. So when we look at here, you notice that we're able to access confidence and we're able to access pass code. Now, another way I like doing this to make it the code more cleaner is that I like using backstick according to our brother in the ministry. So if I want to use backstick now, they want to concatenate stream and the object. So what I will do is console.log. So I add this bash stream here. Then what I will do is that student full name is, or student name, this not have is the full name. Student name is, then so like we did earlier here. So same thing we did here is what we're going to do. So this made the code more cleaner. I put my $sign and call my angle bracket. Then student dot full name. I move to the next one. Then student cohort number. Then I use my this, then call this. Sorry, I'm doing that outside. Call the $sign. Then student dot cohort. So finally, let me access the course. Student courses. Okay. The next one we're going to do here is passing this and then student dot course. So this is a bit long, but we'll see how we're going to break this. So when you come down here and you notice that we have student name, confidence. Now someone will ask, why not break this so that we'll have this more space to be able to read whatever we are having here. So what I'm going to do is very simple. If I want to break from here, let's see from here. So what I will do is that I use slash, don't worry, /, then I put in n. N stands for a new line. So when you come down here, you notice that from the confidence, we now have the next one. I can decide to break on this student after cohort. Then what I will do, just come here, then slash, then n. Sorry, let me do that again.
Backslash.
Backslash. Sorry, / and n. Yeah. Okay. So
Backslash.
It's okay now. Backslash rather. So now we look at what we are having at the moment. You notice the way object function. So remember that we have another object, but like I told you, there are two ways. This one is using dot notation. So we access using dot notation. So let's look at the another pattern in which you can access an object. So another pattern is using bracket notation. So let's say using bracket using the bracket. So let's learn how we can use the bracket notation to be able to access our objects. Console dot log, call the object prop name, then pass in the properties. So immediately you put this, you notice that we have the properties. You make choice among the properties, select full name. Then I come down here and see that we have a amiable confidence. Then what we are going to do next, before we go more of advance in this object, because we are going to go more advanced in this object. So what we are going to do here is that we have another object, right? So we created an object. Now, to access this object we created here, what we are going to do is very simple. We're still going to use this pattern to access this, right? So this is more robust, and this is just not really robust. So console dot log, then you have the student one, then you have your full name. So full name. So let's quickly check. Student is objects. Okay. Okay. So let's see what the full name will give us. You can see the full name is having a Macaulay skyline. So basically, that's just what the object is all about, and we are going to be moving this object to another level. Now, you can also have objects inside another object. So like the way you look at this, we only have this object. So we can only have an object also can contain another object, right? So we are going to learn how another object can contain another object. So we are going to use example of a bank account to be able to compare that explanation. So let's quickly move on. This place is becoming rowdy, so I would like to create a new file. Coming to 5, then here I will create nested, right? nested objects, nested underscore objects .js. So this is called a nested word object. Means that an object can also contain an object. So here an object can also have another object, right? So good and fine. Then for us to, please, am I communicating or we are sleeping? Are we communicating or we are sleeping?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now let's look at bank info, for instance. Bank info. In bank we have account name, we have account number, we have bank, then we have, I think that is all. Then there's another area which has to do with verification, right? In that verification, then you have your BVN, then you have your bank pin, then you also have your date of birth, so now let's see how we can use this information that we provided to work on nested example. So what we are going to do is very simple. To create an object, initiate an object. So what we are going to do is very simple. So here we are having a variable called const. We have this, a variable rather. So can use then bank info. We already have it somewhere here. So bank info so we have here a list of objects, right? So that object, we have an account underscore name, okay. The next the next one we're having there is account name, account number. So let's move on to account number next. So the next one we are going to be having on our list, account number. So let's also have bank, name, So here we are having account name, Opay, Pay Nigeria. So there is where we have a already exist account, which is a normal basic information account to have. So next one, you are going to have bank verification. Bank verification. So this bank verification, so what we need to do to assign another one, make sure that you close this with comma. To assign another one, okay, so what we're going to do is very simple. You come here to pass in so come here to pass in BVN. Then okay, let's have this 2 3 4 5. Then let's see what's the problem here. Problem here. Okay. Alright. Okay. Let's use normal. This. No. Okay. So next is date of birth. DOP. 1 2 3 4 5. So right. So when you look at this, you notice that here we are having a object with a next loop. So let me show you guys. This is an object with a what? A nested with nested objects, right? So when you look at this object and when you look at this object, the one we created, so here we have a nested loop object, a nested loop object. So to be able to access an object with nested loop, right? So when you look at here, if we want to access the object, the simplest thing to do is come and then so what we are going to do now is that console.log, then bank, call the bank, okay, bank info, let's see what we did here. All right, so if you call this console.log bank, it's also very important that we pass in the properties, right? Pin, right? Let's say pin cannot work. Let's say bank name. So we come here. Do we have bank name here? Bank name. So which is Opay. console the log dot bag name. Let's see if we have it. Okay, I think we are in a new page, right? So we are in a new page. Let's quickly go and link this to a different nested. So let's see what's going to happen. So we have open Nigeria here, right? So let's quickly, next thing to do here is so now if we want to access this verification, so what we need to do is also come here, console.log, and then we call the bank info dot verification dot bank pay. So this is how you can access the nested loop. So you can see that this is what we have here. We have the bank pin. So let's quickly take this above advanced, right? Let's take it a bit advanced. So and now another thing is that an object can also contain a function, right? An object can also contain what? A function. So that will be what we are going to do the next. Like I told you, I'm not going to waste time in this class. So that's what we are going to do next, and then we'll have a little assignment that we're going to finish up, and then among our this thing. So let's move on, please. So, like I told you, an object must have what? A function. Object fun, just right? So what we are going to do here is we'll advance this banking app. So let's quickly copy the banking app. So we're going to copy the banking app, right? So let's copy this, and let's that banking object. Let me check banking object here. Okay, so I'll just copy this banking object, copy it, then come to this, and then put it here. So right, then let me quickly do this. Of course, now what we are going to do here is, we all know that this is a normal object. So what we are going to do here is that one, so we are going to create a function for verification, right? So we are going to create a function for what? Verification. So we can come here and say verification verification right. So let's say true, let's say yes, verified. Okay, I can see yeah, verified. All right, so what I'm going to do here quickly. So we'll come here and call band verification. Band underscore verification. Then the function. Then after we call the function, moving this. Then so what we are going to do is that let put console.log. Now, so for us to be able to we'll be able to get any of the item here. So remember, this is a function. So the function will leverage based on this. I can decide to say console.log verified, right? Here go on. Verification, right? Put comma here. So now if you look at this, right, we have this function. So if you want to check on this, what we are going to do is very simple. We come here and call bank info dot what, the verification, right? So when you use the verification, let's see what's going to happen. So quickly, so what do we have here? Let's reload and see. We are verifying another place. So we also need to link this to our stuff. Okay, link it as a object font. So let's quickly view this page and see what happened. All right. Okay. So on expect syntax this. So so let's check it here. Okay, this is unexpected syntax. So this is the function, and the function it is. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So now we look at what we are having here, right? You notice that reference verification is undefined, and when you come here, you notice that there we actually assign verification, right? So what we are going to do is that we are going to use a property called dix, right? So dix refer to a bank object. Now let me show you. So what I want to do here to come here and say dot word dix. So the dix, when you use dot dix, refer to this object directly. So when you come that dix, then you notice that we have on what, undefined, right? So let's check the undefined that we're having, right? So yes, go to the log this, then verify. So you need to punch in v here, verify. So when you come down, you notice that we have verify. Then now so these dix, right, define the owner or the function. So when you use dix, that means you are talking to the properties. Now let me show you something so that you see. return your console.log log, then dict. Now this dict, now when you print this out, what you are printing out is dict. So when you use dict, it's referring to the properties of this man, right? Let me show you. So when you come here now and say dict, you notice that what did you see that printed out? The name, account name, bank, and verification. So the dict refer to the original creator or the owner of that original of that file. So that's what this all about. Regarding to the 9 class, what we did is the basic and everything you need in order to scale through on objects. So I will not give you guys assignment tonight because you guys are already currently working on assignment. If you don't understand this, you need to go and read about object. So quickly, the president, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You can see this night I'm very, very tired because of where I went to. I have to struggle to have this class. I have to really struggle to have this class. So what's going to happen is that they are going to read they should go and read classes, object and event, class, object and event. So that's what they are going to be treating next week, object and events, any of them. So you go and read any of this and then you convey. And if you have any question regarding the dict, I know it's a bit confusing, you can ask me because as I'm here now, I'm very, very tired. I'm not